Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for giving me the opportunity to bring you some great information. If you are a lifer, thank you for your continued support. So today's video, I created this video because I was doing my third quarter financial review or assessment. If you follow me, you know that I say that you always need to understand what your basis is, what your foundation is, because if you don't know where you're at, you don't know how far you can go or what it's going to take to get to that next step that you're trying to accomplish. So from a financial aspect, you always need to understand what your total debt is, if you have debt, how much money you have coming in from whatever resources that you have, your regular main income stream, any side hustles that you have coming in. Do you need to make changes with your brokerage accounts, your stocks, your ETFs, mutual funds? You always need to be able to understand that. And the way that you do that is in the beginning, you do a complete financial assessment so that you know what your basis is. And then after that, each quarter you go in to review to see if there's changes that need to be made. So with that being said, I actually sat down and started thinking about different things that people may need to do if some type of catastrophe or a major change happens that you couldn't predict, or you didn't know how bad it was going to be when it did occur, if you were already kind of planning for it. And the reason I thought about that is because I'm in the North Carolina area, and we just had Hurricane Helene that came through. It hit down in Florida as a Category 4, and it came all the way up the East Coast. I think there are areas in North Carolina and Georgia that got hurt worse than in Florida, where it actually hit in the Florida Bend area. So with that being said, I'm not saying that you can prepare fully for any type of catastrophe, but you can have things in place to actually relieve some of the things that could potentially happen during those particular times. Just like with the pandemic, hindsight is 2020, so there are definitely things that you could have done to help you along the way during that time. We didn't know that. We had never been hit with a pandemic. But with a recession on the horizon, at least they've been talking about that for the past couple of years. What do you have in place from a financial standpoint that can help you during those times, during a recession, during a pandemic, during a hurricane, from a financial basis? I just want to talk from that perspective since this is a financial channel. So 10 things that I think that you can look at. Number one, you need to have an emergency fund. I have talked about this continuously. I have a video about having an emergency fund, but basically you need to have an emergency fund 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses. All that means that is however much it takes you to live during a month, multiply that times the amount of months that you want to have as a safeguard in an emergency fund. At a minimum, I say 3 to 6 months. If you can do 9 to 12 months, that's even better. But either way, you have to have something in place. I just had, about a week ago, I had all 4 of my tires changed on my car. It was like $1,300. If I didn't have an emergency fund, that could have wiped me out, but I have money in place for different things like that. So that's the first thing, build an emergency fund. The second thing you need to do is you need to have different income streams. And that is easier said than done for some people. I realize that. Having different income streams will help you if your main income stream goes down. So let's say you work a 9 to 5 in corporate America or whatever it is that you do. If that main income stream goes down, do you have something else that can supplement you? Your emergency fund would definitely help you, but if you have other ways of making money, that can help as well. So with me, you know, I have my main money that comes in. I sell on Etsy. I sell on Amazon. I create digital downloads on Etsy. I have my financial literacy boot camp that I just put out. I have over 50 books on Amazon that I sell. So those are other things that can keep money coming in. I also have my brokerage accounts. So stocks, ETFs, they go up and down. I get dividends. So far this year through the first 9 months, I've made $13,000 just in dividends. Now, I reinvest that back into, my brokerage accounts. But those are things that if I needed to have some money, I know that things like that come through. The next thing that you need to look at is you need to invest in recession-resistant assets. Just like I just mentioned about stocks and things like, so blue chip stocks, Walmart, big places that like Nike, Starbucks. These are places that, yes, the economy can be impacted by them, but these are places that also have dividends that they can provide you. The largest amount of dividends that I've received so far this year have been via Blue Owl as well as a BlackRock mutual fund that I have. That covered the majority of the $13,000 that I've gotten in dividends. So make sure you have things that can stand up to a recession. If you are investing in real estate, those are things that can stand the test of time. If you're getting money, I own 2 rental properties. I didn't lose any money during the pandemic from my renters with that. I was lucky, with that, because if someone had lost their job, they might not have been able to pay rent. But there were situations where they were getting funding to help them still survive during that particular time. And also with real estate is something that continues to go up. Like they say, we're not making any more land. Yes, we're building houses, but we're not making any more land. So buying things like that can actually help during those times. I understand everyone doesn't have money to be able to do that, but there are different things that you can do that can assist with a recession-proof type asset. And land and real estate are things like that. Also, when you look at things like gold, bonds, anything like that, as well. And they're cyclical, just like anything else. They go up and down, but over the test of time, those are things that will retain value in the end. The next thing is upskill or reskill. I know that during the pandemic, people started learning a lot of other different skill sets. I don't know if you saw what was written on the internet about new millionaires. They said that there was 52 million new millionaires that were made during the pandemic. And the biggest reason for that is, what is the one thing people usually say when they want to have their own business or their own side hustle? They say they don't have time. Pandemic gave you plenty of time because we didn't know what was going to happen. So hopefully you capitalize on the time that you had available, where either you were working from home and you save hours that it might have taken you to drive to work. I know for me, it saved me 2 hours a day, because it takes me 45 minutes to an hour when I was driving uptown to go to work and then coming back home. That's 2 hours that I was able to save. And then, of course, when you work from home, if you were like me, I woke up early, and that was time that I could actually start doing more things because I know I didn't have to drive uptown. So that saved me even more time. So learning new skills. There are so many things on the internet like Coursera, Udemy, a lot of places that provide free classes for all types of things. Learning how to use ChatGPT, learning how to use AI, learning how to use Canva, learning how to code. There are plenty of free things available. And then there's some things that cost, but they're not very expensive, or you can get grants for those things. Learn how to utilize those resources so that you can build up skill sets. And if you already have some of those skill sets, why not charge people so that you can utilize those skill sets for them? Like Fiverr, you could sell your skill sets on Fiverr. There's plenty of places that you can actually use your skill set. So if you're good at creating PowerPoints, sell templates on Etsy. You can create those things for free on Canva. You can sell the stuff on Fiverr. There are a lot of different things that you can do. One site that I always tell people about is usertesting.com. You don't have to have a lot of different types of skill sets to be able to test out websites and apps for people on usertesting.com. I tried that out a couple of years ago just to see if it worked, and I made a couple of $100. I think it was like $300 some. I made a video on it. You can go down and look at it. I am still using user testing to show people how it works. It's still available. It's still easy to use, and then to start making side money. The tests usually take 10 to 15 minutes, and they pay at minimum $10. There's some that may be $4 or $5, but they're not asking for any type of skill sets. They just might have a quick survey. But pretty much you are testing websites or apps for different companies. I've tested things for Publix. I've tested things for Chick-fil-A, different websites that you help them out in improving the customer reactions that they may have with new things that they have available on the sites. That's what it was for Publix. They just wanted to know how easy it was to order a catering tray for a party. And you had to go through and you talk through it. I got paid $10 just for doing it. It only took 10 minutes. All right, the next thing is what I was doing, which is why I made this video, is review and adjust your investment strategy. So if you have a brokerage account, I use Merrill Lynch Wealth Management, but I also have a couple of brokerage accounts that I manage myself. So it's myself as well as my financial advisor managing all of the money that I have. With that, I go in each quarter and I look to see, do I need to change some things with the money that I'm investing? Am I pleased with what my financial advisor is doing? And I know some people don't want to use a financial advisor. I think it's up to you, and it depends on what you're doing. There are certain things that I feel comfortable having a certified public accountant look at certain things for me, versus other things I manage myself. I balance that out, what works best for me. You have to do the same thing for you. But either way, continue checking those items on a quarterly basis to make sure that you're staying on track. The next thing is pay down debt. Easier said than done. I realize that. But with that being said and done, paying down debt is a major thing. Especially if you are still living with a lot of high interest debt. At this point, if you're in the position and you have something that has a really high interest, you need to either refinance, combine certain things under something that has a smaller interest rate. There are a lot of credit cards that give 0% interest. I'm not saying you should do a credit card. You have to do what's best for you. But if you're sitting here with 10, 15, 20% interest on something, you definitely need to see how to refinance or shift that over to something else to get a lower interest rate, because that is extremely high. I refinanced, even though it wasn't real high, my house in 2021. We had a 3.75% interest, which was low. But I refinanced and I'm now at 1.75 interest. But that was in 2021. We are almost finished paying for our house now. But if we were not, that would have been a major thing that helped us, which it did. It brought down our amount that we had to pay each month. But we still continue to pay the same amount, because we were able to, and we're able to pay it off faster. So we got 2 years left, and we will actually be through that. I have 2 rental properties. I've had a renter in one since 2004, so 20 years. I have a renter, and the other one has been in it for 10 years. Those houses are pretty much paid off now. because of the renter. But the interest rate on those were 3.75 as well. So there's different ways you can actually improve your interest rate, whether you want to consolidate, some items. Look into those different things. We did just have a interest rate decrease. It went down half a percentage point, which I think is going to go down again. But those are things that could help you if you're looking at getting or refinancing into a new personal loan or a home equity loan. It'll help you out for that. For other people who are trying to make money off of interest, yeah, it doesn't help us as much, but if you're buying something, it does. So that is a big thing. Try to pay down your debt and always pay down the highest interest rate, first. Unless that is on your house, then you need to look at trying to refinance. And even with the refinance, let me just make sure you do hear this. When you refinance, there are times where fees and different things come into play. Make sure the refinance is worth the amount that is going to take and how much you're going to save. So if you're only going to save, and I'm just throwing out a number, you're only going to save $2,000 over the next, 5-7 years, but it's going to take you $2,500 to refinance. Of course, that's not a good deal. Just make sure, and the person that you're working with, your bank can let you know, hey, if you go down to this is what you're going to save. There's also opportunity to bring money out when you refinance. So let's say you owe $50,000 left on your house. They may say, oh, well, you can refinance and get $75,000. You may be able to take that money and then use it for something else that can pay you a higher interest rate on that money. It's trickery around with that, so make sure you understand what I'm saying, with it. Like for me, if I refinanced and I would have taken out more money in it, it would have been excellent because it was only 1.75 interest. I could have probably got $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 out. I didn't need that. But that's what I'm saying. You capitalize on it when it's a better situation for you to do that. All right. The next thing is strengthen your network. People don't look at how important this is with having a positive network of people around you, and not just people that you work with in your regular 9 to 5. You need to have a strong network with people who do something different from you. So if you're in the finance industry, work with people who are in the retail industry or have them in your network. Go to different types of conferences. Look at things that come to your town that may be talking about leadership conferences, learning how to be a better entrepreneur. Any of these different types of events, you can branch and learn from different people. Even when I do a lot of the volunteer work that I do with my church or with my sorority, learning what other people do, it is so welcoming to learn from other people. It's always good to have people who are smarter than you that you are around, because there's no room for you to grow if you're the smartest one in your group. All you're doing is feeding out information to them, but what is being pulled into you to help you grow, to get you to the next level. So always strengthen that network. Another reason for that is you never know how things will impact you. Maybe you want to change careers later in life. Maybe, it's possible you could get laid off, all types of things. The stronger your network is, the easier it is for you to reach out to other people that may be able to help you along the way, as well as you helping them. The next thing is stock up on essentials. And I'm thinking about this because of, like I said, we just got hit with Helene, as well as we have a strike that was going on at the port. I know that they have put it on hold until, I don't know if it said January, but I saw in the news this morning that they kind of put that on hold. We did have interest rates that were reduced, a half a percentage point. But different things that happen, whether it's the pandemic, whether it is a hurricane, tornado, whatever may happen, there are certain things that you can have in your possessions that I think you should always kind of have. I'm not saying stockpile up on it like it's going to be some type of zombie apocalypse, like people talk about. I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying things that are non-perishable, having batteries and having candles or different things like that in your house. We just had a power outage because it was a bad storm. It wasn't like a hurricane or tornado or anything like that, but I'm just saying the power went out. We do have a generator here. There are certain things that you need to have on hand, even if there are no signs that something like that is going to happen. It can't hurt to have things like that. So I say stock up on things like that, especially if it's non-perishable. Having some certain types of canned goods, and even if it came to a point like right now, we are trying to help people in the Asheville area because they were completely they were hit really hard with Helene. Houses were basically underwater all the way up to the roof. Houses were knocked off their bases. And so things that we are sending and trying to help out with is simple things that most people wouldn't think about. Having, undergarments, socks, bottled water, all of those type things. So having those things on hand can never hurt you. You don't have to stock up like the world's getting ready to end, but just having some stuff on the side. And so the final thing is creating a recession-proof mindset. So cultivating a mindset of resilience and adaptability, you have to be open to changing your plans and staying flexible. There is no perfect scenario. There's no perfect mindset to be in, but being able to be flexible and being okay with change, those who thrive during tough times are the ones who are ready to adapt. And you're going to have to be like that. And I know everyone doesn't like that, but that is something that you're going to have to put in place. So I hope these 10 things at least spark something in you to kind of think about. If there's other things that you think should be added to the list, let me know. Drop it in a line below. But I look forward to talking with you on the next video. Hope you have a great day.
Yeah, yeah, oh, 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 yeah, yeah.